You're good.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for another beautiful day in Southern Illinois. Thank you for this group of people and the work that the county guide us and direct us to make the right decisions for the benefit of everyone. Let us not forget what this weekend is, Memorial Day, and what it actually stands for, and all our veterans out there, and remember them in our prayers. These things we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Lance, will you please?
Commissioner Pitts?
Here.
Commissioner Toller?
Here.
Commissioner Foster is absent. Commissioner Miller?
Here.
Commissioner Gould?
Here.
Having a quorum, I'll officially call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is approval of minutes. First set of minutes was a special meeting held April 28th, 2020. Everybody had a chance to look at those?
Yes.
Yes.
Any corrections or additions?
No.
No.
I move we as approved.
Second.
For both sets of minutes, one motion?
No, we'll do them separately.
Okay, 428 then?
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner?
Next, we have regular meeting minutes from May 8th, 2020. Any corrections or additions?
And I can see. I move that we approve those also. I'll second it.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is public comments. Angie, I think we have one, I believe.
We do. The public comment says, "My name is Monica Beely. I am the site manager at the Sunshine Inn Senior Center in Anna. The Union County Senior Citizens Council asked me to have a meeting with them last Thursday, the 14th of May. They asked me to check with the commissioners and see if it would be possible for me to let you know when they are out of money. Let you know that they are out of money and send the reports to Angie every month. They would still be the ones to take care of the bank account, signing the checks, etc. I would be doing the paperwork for them. I already do most of it. They say they have enough to cover the meals in May, but will be out of money by the end of the month. Our meal count has almost doubled due to the pickup only order from the governor. The home delivered meal count has also doubled, making the total each day around 100. Please let us know something in the next few days if you can."
All right, well, since this isn't on the agenda and this is something that we have to vote on, we will do that at a later date. But I can assure you that commissioners are not going to let you run out of money. So not a problem. We just need you to send the reports and we'll continue as is. You still have money in the bank account, so it will be taken care of. No other public comments?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. Committee reports. Anybody?
No, nothing today. I have none.
Max, of course, you contacted me a couple days ago about a company that called Casamino and Sons Incorporated from Mount Vernon that helps with food distribution. And they're out of Mount Vernon and they're kind of working their way south and helping with food drives and different things. I contacted Shawnee Development about our food pantry in Union County, and they contacted this company and we were put on a list that we might possibly be able to get some food distribution from them in the near future. So it's in the works, so
Good
maybe
deal.
we'll get some help.
Well, the way I understood, I got a call, just a brief explanation from Jerry Wamick from 773. I don't know if any of you noticed on Facebook, some of the food drives they've been doing, passing out food. Hopefully we'll get work down the list. I appreciate you giving him a call. So every little bit will help.
Yes.
Any other reports? Okay, moving on, building permits. I think we have one, right, Angie?
Yes, we have one building permit, parcel number 050302951. It's for a Phil and Connie Goodman. It's a new home, no subdivision, no floodplain, recommended for approval.
Everybody had a chance to look at that?
Yes.
Any questions or concerns?
I vote to approve it, or make a motion to approve
I'll second the motion.
it.
All right. Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions or concerns? No?
I'll make a motion to pay our bills.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Item B on the agenda, approval of Redeploy Illinois Bureau of Youth Intervention Services FY 2021 continuation application. I think Carrie is with us, right?
Yeah, hi guys, how are you? Good morning.
Morning.
It's nice to see all your faces.
Did you want to interject on this, please?
Sure. So I wanted to start off by rewinding a little bit so we can go over last year so you can understand some of the successes that we saw. So last year, we started the year before with a total of 11 clients when I took over.
Carrie, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Could you change spots with Angie? I can't hardly hear you or see you.
Sure. Hold on one second. We have to do a little dance to get there. Is that better? Can you see me and hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
So last year, we started the year having had 11 referrals in the year previous. And so this year, at the time that the COVID stopped the program, which was March, we had seen a 203% increase in referrals. So we jumped from 11 to 34, and we were on track to have 51 clients served by the time we came to the end of our fiscal in June, which is really quite impressive considering the state of the program when we started. So keeping that in mind is how we designed the program for the second year, which is the year we're looking at today. So we embarked on a strategy for a 3-year plan for the program, this was the first year of the program, and this is the second year of that 3-year redesign, and that's reflected in the budget. We are on track for next year to serve 64 clients. As some of you may know, to incarcerate a juvenile, it costs the state $111,000 a year. Within the budget, and you have the numbers in front of you, if we serve 64 clients, which I'm sure we will serve next year in light of the trajectory we're on this year, we will save the state over $6.5 million, which is a great cost saving considering the budget issues that we see at the state level right now. Going on to that, I do want to make sure that you understand that I did have conversations. As some of you know, I'm on a board with the Department of Human Services in Springfield, and we did have lengthy discussions about funding for programs at DHS, so I just want to put your minds at ease. Because Redeploy Illinois is a statutory program, it always receives funding from the legislature. And so for this year, we are at what they call level funding, which means that the entire program is receiving the same allotment of money for this year as it did last year. So I planned and budgeted for our second year plan with that in mind, knowing that we had the same amount of funding and that there was room for growth as they had anticipated that in their funding requests in years past. So going forward, are there any questions about last year you want to ask before I move into the budget?
No.
Okay, so if you take a look at your spreadsheet, I believe Angie sent it along earlier this week to you. The total cost for this year's program will be $599,765.49. That's the operating costs for the program through next fiscal year, which will begin on July 1st. The first page talks about the employees. The best thing about progress and success is that you end up with a lot more work. So we're moving the client care coordinator position to a full-time non-exempt position. She'll be offered benefits, and she will, and her name is Katie Bryant, I should call her by name because she's been an excellent addition, I think, to Union County in general, but specifically to this program. I'm very proud of the work that she's done, and I couldn't have asked for a better partner in working on this program. So I'm grateful to Katie. So she's watching today. Thanks, Katie. So that you'll see the number for personnel costs. And obviously, the fringe benefit costs then increase as well because we took her from non-exempt to exempt. And we built into this year, at the beginning of the county's fiscal year, the offering of benefit packages to employees and redeploy. And the reason we did that was because of COVID. What we found across the board, and I'm sure many of you know this, is that people are finding that their spouses or people in their family are losing their jobs right now. And because of that, I wanted to make sure that should that happen, God forbid, for Katie or myself, which I'm hopeful it wouldn't because my husband's been working for a long time where he works, we wanted to make sure that we were able to offer that to people that work in redeploy, myself or to Katie, in the new fiscal, so that we wouldn't mess with the county's fiscal year before November or December. So that's where you see the change in the fringe benefit number. When you move on to travel, it's similar to last year. The things that's different this year is we sort of did a pilot program where we rented a minivan last year to see if that could move the needle as far as solving for transportation. And what we found is we have far better success using Advanced Transportation Corporation, who you will see their, you will see them not only in the budget, but you also see their contract at the end of this discussion. They just have done an exemplary job being able to meet the needs that we have for our clients. So we decided that we would remove the cost for the minivan and put it on to the cost for Advanced Transportation to do the transportation work we need. Moving on, we talk about office supplies. Office supplies are just par for the course. We did find ourselves in a bit of a pickle this year because we needed to transfer to at-home work. So we were buying a lot more paper and more copy printer cartridges for our home offices. But this year, we'll move on to this in just a minute, we'll be moving to a facility at Choate Mental Health, which we'll talk about in a second. And I've included a monthly cost for that at $83 per month. We also have redeploy supplies, which include, letterhead and envelopes and just the basic office things that every office holds at that point. We talk about telecommunications. You do see a change in telecommunications line item this year. We obviously are paying for the cost of our cell phones for Katie and myself, but we also have a new cost of internet and phone for the office, which is out at Frontier, which interestingly enough is per month about the same as it's going to cost me in rent. So that should tell you something about how expensive phone and internet is. And then phone cards. What we found during COVID was that our clients were no longer able to go to their facilities to receive care. So we had to provide them with access to cell phones so that they could receive their telehealth, they could meet with their probation officers, and they could also use hotspots for their schoolwork. So you'll see that we've included the cost of those phone cards so we could have them on hand. So should we find ourselves, as might be anticipated, in a situation like we've been in this year where we have to shut things down and not go to school, we'll have the money already in the budget and not have to kind of go back and figure out how to find that money later in the year. Training and education. We have two changes in this area. We are taking 4 staff members. I've partnered with a System of Care grant in the region, and they have offered to train staff members at different agencies in Illinois, in Southern Illinois, in what they call RAP training. So they're going to pay the expensive portion. we're planning on paying the travel costs for that and the travel and lodging for that. And that's what you see with RAT training costs for 4 staff. And then there's a small group stakeholder training. Because we have Choate Mental Health, we have the access to a space where we can bring in lawyers, judges, doctors. Dr. Swafford from here in Anna, along with Dr. Ginger Meyer, will be conducting small group trainings for our judiciary at our Choate facility. So that I'm paying a fee to them, and I'll also be paying for the CLEs, which are the continuing ed credits for those lawyers that choose to come to the trainings. There will be 4 conducted over the 4 quarters of the year. Our miscellaneous budget, there's a little bit of a change to this, and I just wanted to note this as I was going through and putting the budget. We have the Boys and Girls Club membership. I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but we have a Boys and Girls Club in Jackson County, but they're also opening one in Williamson County. So we're going to be paying for 4 memberships, 2 in Jackson and 2 in Williamson, that will be open to anyone. So any kid that qualifies and the probation officer wants to have a membership will pay for 4 memberships to those places and transportation to and from. We have gas cards on there, GED testing, and then the drug testing supply was a lot bigger number, and I realized that there was some addition issues. But the final number remains the same, it's just how many drug testing supplies we'll actually be purchasing has changed from what you see there. Talking and getting to occupancy, this is probably the biggest and newest item for our program in this fiscal year. We work, obviously you know we work here in the courthouse, and there's limitations to how we can utilize this space, meaning in order to bring people in after hours, we have to have somebody here to keep the place secure. So what we've done is we've set up with our psych evaluation company to conduct psych evaluations on Saturdays. So once a month on a Saturday, they will come to Choate Mental Health, and we will let all the courts know that we will have psychological evaluations offered at no cost to the court, no cost for transportation for the child at our center at Choate. That's not something we're able to do here at the courthouse because it's not open on a Saturday. Secondarily, Choate is a DHS facility. So it is a place where people can go and often do go to the food pantry, as we know. They often go to there to receive their link card and deal with issues like that. And they also have childcare there. So by placing ourselves in the DHS facility, we become a more mindful part of the DHS family. The Choate Mental Health cottage rental is really, you know, in the great scheme of renting at $170 a month is really quite reasonable, if not unimaginable, I think, in this rental market. So this is something we're really excited about, and we look forward to using that site as a way to, again, bring in judiciary, do small group trainings, and allow for our kids to have psychological evaluations in lieu of sitting in DJJ or detention waiting for one. We can tell the courts that we'll have a monthly. So that cost is reflected here. And finally, the big kit and caboodle, I guess you would call it, are the contracts. This year is the second year, and our goal over the 3-year period is to offer specific services to our clients with very strategically placed agencies to find out if we're getting what we expect from the money that we're spending. And in the past, we really haven't had a lot of checks and balances in place with our agencies. So what we're doing is we're reevaluating at the end of each fiscal year, deciding whether or not certain services are working, if they're worth the money, and if they aren't, we're getting rid of those services and we're replacing them, we're making a new strategy for our program. So as you can see, dual psychological services, 24 evaluations, that's what I'm talking about when we'll have those set up monthly at Choate for our clients. Egyptian, they're going to offer functional family therapy and TFCBT, something we offered last year, as well as BOP and light skills. We're going to continue to pay for ankle monitors. I don't know if that will continue to be a cost in the next fiscal, but for this year, we will continue to pay for ankle monitors, which is a great revenue, a great referral stream for us because it takes the cost off of the court system. And that's very appealing to the court services budget, that they don't have to pay the $450 for the client to be on an ankle monitor. So they like it, so we're keeping it. Advanced Transportation, we talked about, great company, does a great job with our clients. They act sort of as mentors for a lot of our kids when they pick them up, so they turned out to be an excellent resource for us. And so we have chosen to take our money and place it there. Stress and Trauma Treatment Center, they also provide the same supports or same services they offered last year, including they do a training with Dr. Matt Buckman and Dr. Ginger Meyer. So they conduct the same trainings they did last year. So theirs has stayed the same as well. Centerstone, they've increased a little bit because they've included the wrap services. And you'll notice that when you look at the cost for wraparound services, it's a very costly, service. However, I was privy to information today on the DHS board that I'm on, that the state is going to a model that supports using wrap all across the state. So DCFS, everybody's trying to find agencies that offer wrap. So it's nice that we're getting in on the game early because we're securing those contracts with those agencies prior to everybody else jumping in to try to get the service. So we contracted with Centerstone for that. So those are the, that's the budget. Does anybody have any questions? I kind of rolled through that really quick. Any questions on budget? Questions, concerns?
No, I don't have any questions. I don't know if anybody else does. I think, Carrie, you continue to do an outstanding job for a service for our youth that is just tremendous. I don't think a lot of people actually know this even goes on, but appreciate your thoroughness and completeness and preparing this and getting grants and everything you do. You do a great job.
Well, thank you very much. I try, and I appreciate your willingness to allow us to run the program through Union County. It would really be a shame if we lost this grant opportunity in Union County. There is a lot of interest in other counties to pick it up. So Katie and I were working really hard on customer service to ensure that we can continue to bring this revenue into Union County. It helps, I think, us across the board as far as our position within the Southern Illinois region. So thank you.
Does anybody have any other questions as far as the approval of redeploy?
No.
Okay, we will approve this, and then we have to approve each of the subcontractors separately, as you see on the agenda. So I make a motion that we approve the Redeploy Illinois Bureau of Youth Intervention Services FY 2021 continuation for their budget.
I'll
I'll second the motion. Or can't, doesn't it?
Oh, it don't matter.
All right, Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Mr. Toller,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Okay, in relation to what we just approved, the first item C, need a motion to approve the subcontractor agreement by and between Union County and Jewel Psychological Services.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Gould.
Yes.
Next one, item B, need a motion for approval of subcontractor agreement by and between Union County and the Stress and Trauma Treatment Center.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Pitts,
Yes.
Mr. Toller,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Item E, motion for subcontractor agreement by and between Union County and Centerstone.
I'll make the motion.
Come on, Bobby. I'll second it.
Mr. Pitts,
Yes.
Mr. Toller,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Item F, need a motion for subcontractor agreement by and between Union County and Egyptian Health Department.
I'll move. I'll second it.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Kohler,
Yes.
They seem very happy with receiving the $40,000. That's the amount that they asked for, so it would be the same as we've done in all the years past.
Anyone else?
No.
I need a motion to approve the University of Illinois Extension budget agreement in the amount of $40,000.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Pitts, do you want to second that motion then?
Yeah, I'll second.
All right. All right, Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Kohler,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is land transfer contract by and between Union County and the city of Anna. This is pertaining to animal control, the 3.6. Anybody have any questions? This should finalize this, right, Angie?
Yes, it will finalize it. You actually voted on it had a different name on it. You voted on the same information, but the attorney at Anna and Daniel, our state's attorney, got together and they wanted to make some changes. One of them, that it be called a land transfer contract. I think
Right.
maybe the other one was a real estate contract or something.
Right.
So that's basically it. It's the same thing we've already approved.
So we're just redoing it under a different name to please all the legal aspects. So I have a motion to approve this land transfer contract.
I move.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Kohler,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Next on the agenda, item J is a resolution appointing David McMahon to the Shawnee Valley Water District Board of Directors. We received a letter from the board asking that we reappoint David. Position will expire on the first Monday in May of 2020, so we need to redo this. I make a motion that we reappoint David McMahon to the Shawnee Valley Water District Board of Directors.
I'll second.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Kohler,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes,
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
and I will add that's for a 5-year term expiring May of 2025. Next item is a resolution appointing directors of the Union County Hospital District, Pete Barger, Randy Lambden, and William Ribbing. This expires June 30th of this year. They are all three gentlemen. This will extend their terms expiring June 30th of 2023. Anybody have any questions? I make a motion that we appoint directors, Union County Hospital District, Pete Barger, Randy Lambden, and William Ribbing, to new terms expiring June 30th of 2023.
I'll second that. You want it, Bobby? You can have it.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Kohler,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes,
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
that completes the new business agenda. We have nothing for executive session, right?
No.
Okay, good. Any other business, guys? Anything you want to bring up?
No.
Nope.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I can't.
I'll second
Luckily, you all get a vote, you know? All right, Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Kohler,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Very good, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody, appreciate it.
And I'll see y'all at 12. Yep, see you, Max.
See ya.
Yeah,
See you, Bobby. See you later, Dave.
good day.
Okay.